Shortly, the Deputy Chancellor and the academic procession will enter the graduation hall. Once they've taken up their positions on stage, Advance Australia Fair will be played, and we invite you to join in the singing of the national anthem. Would you please stand for the academic procession?
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Pujingini, everyone. Good evening, Nalawa. Welcome. Welcome to the lands of the Wallen Medical. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to firstly pay my respects to the country itself and its people, and to thank the University for their acknowledgement of us and the invitation to welcome you here this evening. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated. My family, in fact, descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Burrabongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. So he enrolled his daughter, Bulgari, or Maria, into the Native Institute, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. Maria studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here tonight. And with good reason. Your success is our success, your advancement, our advancement. Now, that was probably better understood in traditional times when camp groups were smaller and clans abided by strict sharing laws, which meant that the food that you caught and brought back was distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we work together. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good to expect our lives. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here a little over 200 years ago, he encountered a people whom he described as one of the happiest people he had ever met. They owned nothing, he wrote, but the tools they carried. They made shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the earth without excessive tilling or clearing. Now, these were not primitive societies, but ancient cultures. There was no slavery, no rich and poor, no rents or mortgages, no jails, and no homelessness. People cooperated to collect the resources which were needed, and then they were shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained in their natural state with fire and responsible harvesting. Our rivers and waterways kept clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. So this is not a dream or an ideal. This is normal life, and for the longest time. And there's no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us, but we're a clever people, and really it's the only way to go. So graduates, I would say expect great and wonderful things from your life. Life is normally good, and we are naturally a happy people. I would suggest, though, you share your gifts with the rest of us, and keep following that beautiful spirit within you that got you this far. Do this, and I'm confident that together we can create a society and a country that we can be proud of, and a future that is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine now by winding up and letting you graduate. I just want to say congratulations to all of you, and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you, and welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University, Elizabeth Crouch.
Thank you, Chris Tobin, for your very warm welcome to country. Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, first I want to welcome all of you and thank you for coming. A graduation ceremony is an important celebration of achievement, the achievements of our graduates, and I might say also of our university. So I'm very grateful that you're all here to join us in celebrating one of life's important milestone events. I also want to especially thank those of you who have brought children with you. It's good for them to be here because their memories of today and of the importance of today may one day be the thing that inspires them to emulate the success of today's graduates. And their presence here is also good for us because every celebration is enhanced by the presence of children. Now, as a parent, I know it may be difficult for little ones to stay quiet or still for the duration of our graduation ceremony. It's a big ask. I don't expect them to or want them to, and I don't want you to worry if they don't. They are most welcome, and please let them run around and make as much commotion as they like. Now, the most important thing today is that our graduates have a great day. Graduates, I hope this will be a very happy and memorable occasion for all of you. You deserve to take pride, great pride in your graduation. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind. You need determination and perseverance. You need to make many sacrifices. But that hard work has paid off, and I congratulate each of you on your achievements. I also want to congratulate those of you who are here as guests of our graduates, because you've all done well too. The very fact that you are here and have been invited by one of our graduates to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been an important influence in their successes that we celebrate today. And I don't want you to think that observing today's graduation is the end of your role. I have another important service for you to perform for our newest graduates, as they will soon become. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in a bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our graduates are too modest to proclaim their success, I want you to make sure you do it for them. Now, the ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduates are wearing today and participating in ceremonies just like this one. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world which can trace their history back more than 500 years. Macquarie, by comparison, is very young, celebrating our 50-year jubilee in 2014. We proudly take our name from Australia's greatest colonial governor, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose greatness and achievements were never acknowledged by his contemporaries, but only by history. We learned at school that Macquarie was a great builder, but his greatest legacy had nothing to do with bricks and mortar. It was the ethos he established, much to the annoyance of the British authorities, of an egalitarian society. Because it was Macquarie's insistence that in this fledgling colony there be no distinction between the free and the freed. That was the foundation of the Australian notion of a fair go for all. And it is that legacy that we here at Macquarie strive to maintain and honour. After our first 54 years, we now have more than 184,000 graduates living in more than 140 countries. Macquarie is now a very modern and outward-looking university. We are ranked in the top 2% of the world's universities, and from our beginnings have defied traditional boundaries of academia to achieve outstanding success. We have pioneered and continue to pioneer learning and teaching approaches that challenge conventions and shift thinking. Our students play a major role in their own learning and are empowered to guide what and how they learn. And we are also research pioneers here at Macquarie. Our framework for the future, world-leading research with world-changing impact, is brought to life by renowned researchers whose bold and innovative solutions to issues of global significance are of enormous benefit to the world that we live in. And that, by the way, is not an idle boast. Did you know that a significant part of the development of Wi-Fi was completed by Macquarie University engineers and scientists in conjunction with scientists from the CSIRO? And that the research that is currently underway at Macquarie is no less significant. I'm sure that you will all be aware of the recent death of Professor Stephen Hawking, a brilliant scientist and a marvellous and inspiring man. The disease he fought almost all his life was motor neurone disease. And I'm proud to say that our Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences is at the forefront. Indeed, I think it's fair to say we are the Australian leader in helping to find a cure for that dreadful disease. And believe it or not, some of our researchers are even working on an innovation that will prevent shark attacks on surfers, a very topical subject at the moment. We also have researchers working with scientists across the globe to develop synthetic yeast, revolutionising not only the biofuels sector, but also providing new options for health and pharmaceuticals. In fact, we have countless research projects underway, all of which have enormous potential to add to the world's knowledge and well-being. We are proud of some of our new or relatively new facilities, including the Australian Hearing Hub, our library and our hospital. Indeed, we are the only university in Australia which owns and operates its own hospital, but we've got more to do to make sure that all of our facilities are fit for purpose and are at cutting edge. That's why when you arrived today, you may have thought for a moment you were visiting a building site. The big hole in the ground just behind me is the site of our new central courtyard, which will house new food and beverage facilities, other social and study areas, as well as on-campus student accommodation. A little further away, which is quite topical to our graduates tonight, is our new arts facility building, our old building being one of the oldest on campus, which has now been completely gutted and will be replaced by a new arts precinct, which will include new spaces for our superb museums and galleries. You'll have to come back and visit because you can't benefit from that one. So it's clear we're looking forward and we're on the move. Here at Macquarie, we have a very clear and straightforward mission. And that mission is to transform people's lives, to improve the lives not only of our own students, but also of people all around the globe by the work and the achievements of our graduates and by the fruit of our research. We want Macquarie to always be a leader in teaching and learning and in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University's alumni. On that note, it is my great pleasure to introduce today's occasional speaker, Ms. Wendy Harmer. In a career spanning 4 decades, Wendy has found success as a political journalist, broadcaster, TV host, author, playwright, and on stage as a stand-up comedian. She's certainly been very busy. She has been a pioneer for women in media, most recently as the editor-in-chief of her own news site for women, The Hoopla. Wendy has written 30 books for children in her spare time and for teens and adults, and has been a columnist for many magazines and newspapers. These days, Wendy is the co-host, as many of us know, on The Breakfast Show on ABC Radio, Sydney, with Robbie Buck, and I had the pleasure of waking up to her this morning. She is an alumni of ours, and it was with great pleasure that I invite Wendy to deliver our occasional address this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Wendy Harmer.
Thank you very, very much. It is a great honour to be here. Thank you indeed. Oh, well, look at you. Congratulations. And I mean that most sincerely. The qualification you've worked so hard for will never be just a meaningless piece of paper. Never. For the rest of your life, I can guarantee you'll find a way to slip into random conversations that you graduated with a degree from Macquarie University. Choose your moments wisely though, like not on reality TV when you're in the jungle and your head's in a box full of spiders and venomous snakes, or you're handing a rose to a bachelor or a bachelorette, or maybe not on your Tinder profile either, or when you're trying to talk your way out of a random breath test. And did I mention I have an arts degree from Macquarie? No, on those occasions, people, you're on your own. But your degree will always be a testament to your excellent character, whether framed on the wall of your office, as the Deputy Chancellor suggests, that beautiful, sumptuous office with the harbour view, or whether it's just stumbled upon when you're moving boxes out of your ex's flat and you're 37, or whether it's unearthed by your kids in your parents' garage when they're downsizing and want this crap finally moved out of the garage. Your degree will always be a window on a time when your optimism knew no bounds and shone like a beacon. even if life's knockbacks and disappointments have dimmed the flame by then. Your degree will always remind you of your ability to achieve a goal you set yourself, your capacity for hard work and discipline to see it through when others gave up. And I'm sure it will always, as long as you live, warm your heart and inspire and encourage you to keep going. So well done to each of and every one of you, and of course your supporters, your family and friends here tonight. We're all very pleased that you've pulled this one off, even if some of us are not quite sure how you did it. Well done. Now, I know that we have many media graduates here this evening, and heeding the excellent rule that you should always talk about what you know, I'd like to take you back to my first foray into print media, if I may. The first newspaper I ever worked on was closed down after 4 editions by a very angry man who threatened to sue me, or sue my father to be exact, because I was 12 years old at the time and I didn't have an ABM. Now, for some reason that I can't recall, and it's a half a century ago, my teenage brain decided that the neighbourhood in my tiny country town was in desperate need of an august journal to document all the momentous events of where we lived. All the breaking news, the human interest stories, the triumphs and tribulations of the sporting arena that would otherwise be lost and never told without yours truly recording it all for posterity. Journalism was my calling. I just knew it. And despite all the advice to the contrary, to just read a book or go for a nice walk, I decided to start a little newspaper that I called the Greenwell Gazette. Greenwell being the name of the road I lived on. And so after school and on weekends where other kids were watching TV, I slaved over my little newspaper. It was a labour of love. I appointed myself editor-in-chief, naturally, press-ganged my 2 younger brothers and sister to be my staff reporters. I wrote up all the stories that we found and I drew the photos from my imagination. I stapled all the pages together, and in my other role as head of distribution, I delivered them into our neighbours' letterboxes. The Greenwell Gazette had 4 pages and a circulation of 6. And I was very proud of my creation. In my mind, it had the potential to be as big and as influential as the Sun News Pictorial. This was the newspaper my father read from cover to cover every day. And my first 3 editions went absolutely gangbusters. I recall one terrific front page I had there in the Greenwell Gazette, which announced that the newly built house down the road had finally got the power on. Lights on the hill at last, announced the Greenwell Gazette. There was a widely read feature article about a lost dog that turned out to have been in someone's woodshed the whole time. And in the sports pages, there were must-read detailed reports about marble tournaments that were held in our driveway. Look, the neighbours just lapped this up. They were avid readers. And so, flush with success, I was ready to move on to stories and scandals that I knew would be red meat to my growing circulation. The big exclusive that I had been waiting for landed when an unnamed source told me that our neighbour, who shall go by the name of Ray this evening because this is being live streamed, told me that our neighbour Ray, who lived right across the road, had crashed his truck through his own front fence, was drunk at the time and had lied about it to the police. Well, I think I can reveal here for the first time that my source was one of his children who told me on the school bus. Well, hold my red cordial, Daily Telegraph. What a scoop. My banner headline, known in the trade as a screamer, read, "Ray was drunk and lied to police." I could not wait to get the Greenwell Gazette into the letterboxes. And when it was duly delivered, I estimate it was only about 20 minutes later when there came a knock on the door from Ray himself, and he threatened to punch my father in the face or lawyer up and see us in court. And the rest is history. Well, my newspaper was totally history. Closed down by the proprietor, my father. Yes, my first foray into print media. It was a very heady few weeks in those Christmas holidays, I've got to tell you. There are a few things that I take away from that first effort, ladies and gentlemen. Number one is the power of the word allegedly. Number two is that Ray wouldn't have given a rat's if I'd written allegedly or not. He still would have threatened to punch Dad in the face. And number three, never reveal your sources. Now, even if it sounded like I did reveal my informant just now, I didn't name which one of his kids had dobbed him in, and Ray had 6 of them. So good luck with that, Ray. He never did speak to Dad again. And I think Dad was secretly pleased when Ray packed up his tribe, his truck, his motorbike and Rottweiler and moved out of Greenwell Road. In the half a century since I handwrote my newspaper, the technology in the print media has seen revolution after revolution, as we know. When I started as a copy girl at the Geelong Advertiser, aged 18, I was the first female that ever had in the newsroom since it began in 1840, would you believe? My job was to monitor the telex machine, stop the typewriter ribbons, the paper sheets the stories were typed on, the 7 layers of carbon paper in between. Then I had to run the stories from the reporters' desks to the sub-editors' tables. In time, I graduated to the City Hall round and I visited the police and the ambulance and the hospitals on my push bike. I know it sounds like about 1930, doesn't it? One memorable evening, I remember, part of my job was that I had to write the evening news bulletin for the local 3GL radio station, which was way across town, so I delivered it on my push bike. And one memorable evening, I'll never forget, my tights got hopelessly caught in the chain. I couldn't go forwards, I couldn't go backwards, so there was no news in Geelong that particular evening, just some easy listening music where the bulletin should have been. When I scored my dream job at the Sun News Pictorial, the very same paper that Dad read every day, he couldn't have been more proud. And one of my duties at the fantastically glorious edifice of the Herald and Weekly Times building in Flinders Street as a D grade on the night shift was to take the subbed copy down into the grimy hot bowels of the building to check it against the hot metal type, which were put together by an army of men in overalls. And when the giant presses were rolling, the whole building would shake. It was so exciting. The clack-clack of typewriters, an ashtray on every desk. I even saw someone run the length of the black and white tiled floor through a haze of cigarette smoke, shouting, "Hold the front page!" That was worth the price of admission alone, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the old Flinders Street is just office space now. The newsrooms are a quarter of the size they were, carpeted, hushed and silent. There are not so many newspapers now, of course, nor editions. The sub-editors are all in New Zealand and the readers are increasingly online. So you students may be wondering what's in store for you in this industry that's undergoing such rapid change. Where do I fit in? Is there still a place for me? Well, surprisingly, when I look back, there are some things that haven't changed since those first days of the old Greenwell Gazette. Perhaps my 12-year-old instincts weren't so bad after all. So there are some old-fashioned truths now being discovered, I think, in the age of the internet and the increasingly fractured media landscape when readers can talk back in the comments. So here's my advice. Number 1, be a self-starter. Rarely will anyone offer you a job anymore that will secure you a career for life. Start your own media enterprise, no matter how humble or small. There are no gatekeepers anymore, no barriers or closed doors, only portals. That's how I like to think of it. And anyone who's spent too much time playing video games online when they should have been studying knows what a portal is. It's a magical or technological doorway that connects 2 locations, dimensions, or points in time. Number 2, get out and find the stories that are all around you. Newspapers rarely have the staff to allocate now to find news on the ground. The stories are everywhere, of course. Local councils, community groups, every event you can think of. There are just stories everywhere you look. So get on your bike. 3, be your best curious self and back your sense of injustice. Find out why it works, find out why it doesn't. Shine a light in dark corners, be a warrior for the truth. Oh, and read up on defamation. Thank you for that, Ray. 4, never lose your sense of optimism. It is the only game in town. It may appear to others that we optimists are seriously unhinged in the face of so much bad news, but I truly believe that our default setting is hope. And finally, 5, because listicles always must have at least 5 points, and if they don't, they're not really listicles, I don't think. The US feminist Emma Goldman once said, "I don't want to join your revolution if I can't dance." So dance. Have fun along the way. Find the joy that makes it all worthwhile. This evening, as you receive your degrees, I'd like to also confer on every one of you a row of extra medals that read tenacity, truth, hope, optimism, entrepreneurship, and one extra little sequin button that says dance. I wish you all the best in your future endeavours. There is nothing stopping you, not even a bloke named Ray. And let's face it, he couldn't handle the truth. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Wendy, thank you for sharing the trials and tribulations from the copy girl from Geelong. I think there's a book in that, I'm sure. It's always wonderful to have occasional speakers who are prepared to share their journey, but importantly share their pearls of wisdom for our graduates. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me again in thanking Ms Wendy Hunt. As Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees on those who have complied with the university's requirements for such awards. But before I do so, I need to just check on a couple of things. I need to make sure you went to every lecture, you completed every assignment, turned up to class on time. You did all that? Are you nodding? You're nodding. Well, I'll just double check, I think, because apparently if I award a degree to you tonight and you're not eligible for it, I can't take it away. So I'll now ask our registrar, Ms Gail White, to certify your eligibility. Ms White.
Deputy Chancellor, I certify that all of the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Now, would all candidates please stand?
Excellent. You did that a bit more quickly than some of the other faculties, I can tell you. In the name of the Macquarie University Council and by my authority as Deputy Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating our newest graduates.
Please be seated. Deputy Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Arts, and I now call on Professor Martina Mollering, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Arts, to present the graduates. Professor Mollering.
Deputy Chancellor, students and staff in this faculty work together within and across disciplinary boundaries to ask questions about socially complex problems. They identify paths of research, analyze and communicate ideas in creative formats, and reflect on the skills and knowledge they will need to understand the world, past, present, and future. Students are encouraged to use their skills and talents to connect with local and global communities. This faculty includes research and study areas in ancient history, anthropology, English, Indigenous studies, international studies, law, media, music, communication and cultural studies, modern history, politics and international relations, philosophy, sociology, and security studies and criminology. Chancellor, Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Arts whom you have admitted to degrees. I present the graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Science, Madeleine N. Cameron. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Christopher Michael Anderson. Pavlo Michael Andreu. Julianne Arico. Eleanor Bailey. Stephanie Caruana. Jacqueline Charmy. Catherine Chetner. Jordan Davis. Camilla Foda. Candice Olive Frankson. Natalie Louise Gardner. Rochelle Marie Gomez. Walter Yuki Gonlin. Gina Gonzalez. Isabel Jennifer Grace Green Wong. Benjamin John Herder. Janice Tinyan Wei. Nafiye Yaka. Ruohanji. Yi Jia. Irasha Kariyawasam. Zoe Tamara Kazic. Rayan Kerr. Ara Kim. Wen Ting Lai. Taylor Jane Stafford Langham. Matthew Adam Leal. Brigitte Claire Daphne Lause. Stuart Anthony Madafillo. Min Luan Wen. Stephen Farm. Dunlock Farm. Sefer Bobozogi. Hannah Kajal Prasad. Elliot Xavier Pring. Benjamin James Pryor. Yan Bing Chiang. Taylor Jade Quinn. Nutia Sangdore. Robert Schwager. Shinron Shu. Yue Shu. Caitlin Elizabeth Huston Stewart. Peijia Sun. Tamara Tamburich. Catherine Tame. Ashley Tavanese. Darren Tai. Jessica Thompson. Kate Eliza Thorne. Emma Tippett. Tikan Huen Jan. Megan Louise Trento. Madeline Wilson. Wenomasi Shu. Wei Ye Zhang. Carol Zhou. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Media. Sienna Grace Aloysia Cook. India Armstrong. Emilia Mary Aslan. Aram Zavan Aivazian. Carmen Nazopadi. Michael Bentley. Daisy Michaela Bracewell. Jess Eva Bradford. Luke Tennant Oswald Bratoni. Georgia Anna Alice Breen. James Douglas Desmond Brennan. Philippa Jane Bulmer. Jen Chen. Courtney Cloud. Tess Alexandra Ray Connery. Ryan Christopher Cook. John James Cooper. Jacqueline May Darg. Elise Dean Jones. Madeline Della Franca. Thalise Desiderio. Amy Louise Dunn. Olivia Esfeld. Emilia Ford. Gabriel Formosa. Daniel James Gilbert Gardiner. Patricia Gregorio. Elena Grigsti. Emma Catherine Harvey. Laura Evelyn Heaton. Davis Heine. Zoe Holling. Chantal Jack. Melissa Jackson. Annabelle James. Nikita Holly Jones. Haley Rose Kadash. Mervik Kozak. Shermin Lim. Cassandra Jessica Lucock. Alexis Marshall. Georgia Rhiannon McCarthy. Kieran McGrath. Megan Mary McMurdo. Caitlin Louise Metcalf. Ruby Rose Peel-Miles. Andrew Mullins. Lauren Parkin. Georgia Paul. Madison Pierce. Molly Pons. Leah Kate Porges. Basma Kazi. Janina Alejandra Salerno. Is here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just walk. And here we have Jack Rogers. Brianna Louise Sawyer. Darius Sawyer. Anvi Sharma. Kia Louise Siutz. Evie Brenna Smith. Lawrence Dariha. Alexandra Paula Starling. Lucinda Maystock. Muhammad Ali Taleb. Ananda Taneja. Alexander Theodorou. Heather Marie Thomas. Erica Millicent Tilse. Yi Chine To. Enrique Diego Javier Vargas. Samuel Williams. Xin Gao Wong. Amanda Yao. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Media. Thierry Regan Cave. Sophia Lily Costa. Jackson Kelly. Jordan Monique Pearson. Rihanna Jade Smith-Williams. Matthew Stewart. Brooke Taylor. Juan Jamo Matias Timbal. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Creative Industries, Duk John Jan. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Future Journalism, Alejandro de la Parra Major. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of International Communication, Cara Elizabeth Levido. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Research. Perry Lam for a thesis entitled Cinematic Containers, Aspect Ratio and Creative Filmmaking. Kevin Noel Lucas for a thesis entitled The Age of the Aboriginal Avatar, Reclaiming the Sacred in a Virtual World. Margaret Isabella McHugh for a thesis entitled Poetic Honesty in Autobiographical Hybrid Documentary Film. Kelly Lee Pessina for a thesis entitled Singing Teachers and the Development of Young Voices. Minachi Savarimutu for a thesis entitled Vela Karia, Constructing Amy Jackson, Nativity and Whiteness in Tamil Cinema. Rosemary Claire Shorter for a thesis entitled Unhappily Ever After, How a Promise of Future Happiness is used to regulate desire and behavior in Protestant evangelical Christianity. Patricia Winifred Wood for a thesis entitled Dancing the Archive, a study in remembering, re-embodiment, and reenactment. Timothy Kevin Yee for a thesis entitled Podcasting Personas in the Creative Knowledge Industries. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Michael John Kuani for a thesis entitled The Negotiated Contract, an ethnography of adolescent reading and ideology. Dr. Yi Guo for a thesis entitled Freedom of the Press in China, A Conceptual History, 1831 to 1949. Dr. Mei Li for a thesis entitled Delivering Chinese Voices to Australian Audiences, CCTV's search for congruence between its frames and those of audiences. Dr. Alexander Nicholas Mesker for a thesis entitled The Limited Soundtrack, the sound and music of Hanna-Barbera from 1957 to 1973. Dr. Jonathan Ogilvie for a thesis entitled The Cinematics of Surveillance. Deputy Chancellor, that completes this evening's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Arts.
Deputy Chancellor, I call on Dr. Jonathan Ogilvie, who has graduated just now with a Doctor of Philosophy, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Dr. Ogilvie.
Deputy Chancellor, members of the University, fellow graduates and guests, thank you for the honour of speaking to you today as I'm guessing the doyen of our cohort. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Being the youngest sibling in my family, I was always considered the baby, but somewhere along the line time sped up. Of course, now that I have a doctorate in the arts as opposed to the sciences, I'm suitably qualified to announce a scientific phenomenon that is well known to everyone here over the age of 40. Time is in fact accelerating. Testament to this occurrence is my 3 years spent at Macquarie University writing my dissertation. I was warmly welcomed into the Faculty of Arts, but had some initial difficulty adjusting my mind to being in the same building in which 29 years ago I was a know-it-all film student. It's quite astounding how much I knew back then compared to how little I know now. I would be incorrect in claiming that the 1,095 days I spent ruminating on my thesis topic went by in a flash, more like a slow-moving rocket. But I was able to maintain a control over this space-time continuum. In the time-honoured male tradition of academy life, I grew a beard. In the first year, my beard was unruly and undisciplined. Inconclusive strands, more quantity than quality, an unfocused critical survey of facial hair, if you will. But I persisted, even despite my wife's claim that the beard made me look even 20 years older. In the second year of growth, I started to refine the shape and identify a critical gap between the upper and lower lip. The faculty offered me a travel grant to present at a conference in London. This experience enabled me to gauge the relevance of my beard in an international context and make adjustments accordingly. My beard was even photographed in Soho during Fashion Week. In my third and final year, I had a clear vision for the shape and style of the beard. After some precise trimming and refinement under advice from my supervisor, I had a cohesive statement that offered a new contribution to existing material. It was time to submit and shave. Voila! After 3 years and 15 minutes in front of the bathroom mirror, I gained 20 years of youth. Of course, I realised that many of my fellow graduates did not or could not make the hirsute choice. And without the time control, you may be wondering what rewards 3 years of hard slog will bring. Anagnoresis. Last month, I was scrawling this Aristotelian term on a whiteboard when one of my students remarked that I wrote like a doctor. After a moment of recognition, I turned to her and replied, "That is because I am a doctor." So never mind the beard, if nothing else, a PhD will give you license for lax calligraphy. Congratulations on your fine achievement. Enjoy your evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you all agree that that was a wonderful address on behalf of our graduating class. Please join me in thanking Dr. Ogilvie. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'll agree that was a truly wonderful performance, and that wonderful voice belongs to Miss Angela Brewer, who graces us with her presence at these graduation ceremonies. Would you like to hear her again? Yeah? All you have to do, sign up to another degree, turn up again, a bit more study, and you can come back and hear her again. So please join me again in thanking Angela for that wonderful performance. I would also like to thank our musicians on the organ, Dr. James Forsyth. And on the trumpet, Miss Melanie McLaughlin. And finally, can I take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the representatives of our alumni community, many of whom come to these graduation ceremonies day in and day out to help ensure that we're all in the right place at the right time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking them. Graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one stage of your relationship with Macquarie University, but it's certainly not the end of your association with us. From today on, and for the rest of your lives, you are part of that bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of a network of more than 184,000 Macquarie graduates spanning the globe. We'll keep in touch with you through our alumni program, a program focused on lifelong learning, lifelong support, and lifelong connections. Our commitment to you is to help keep you in touch and engaged with Macquarie throughout your life. And please make sure you come back to Macquarie, either to undertake more study, as I know some of you are, to attend alumni events, use our aquatic or fitness facilities, or even, if the mood takes you, to enjoy a picnic by the lake. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. I encourage you to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry, to set ambitious goals for yourselves, and to continue the hard work that has already brought you so far. I urge you to always exercise sound judgment and be generous in offering practical advice and wisdom to those you meet on life's journey. My hope is that as graduates of Macquarie University, you will use what you have learned not only for your own benefit, but for the betterment of the whole community. Believe it or not, each and every one of you can change the world, and you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner to do it. Because almost everything you do, in your homes, in your workplaces, in your communities, matters and can make a huge difference. The consequence of every effort, every action, large or small, can reverberate throughout society, through the decades, indeed through the centuries. Even something as simple as a kind word or gesture can often be the spark that ignites a great life, a great career, or a great achievement. And in all you do, I ask you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. And remember, wherever you go, go with all your heart. I hope that you will also always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom are here with you today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. First, I'd like our newest graduates to please stand. Now place your degrees on the seats behind you because you're going to need your hands. I'd like you to turn around and face your family and friends and give them a mighty round of applause. You can turn around now, but don't sit down just yet. One more job. Here on the dais are representatives of our academic community, many of whom have supported you throughout your journey. Please join me in thanking them. Now you can be seated now, but just for a couple of minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, shortly I will lead the official party out, and it will be my great honour to invite our newest graduates and their family and friends to join us for refreshments at the Marquee. I now invite everyone to please stand and remain standing until the last graduate has processed out. Graduates, I wish you the very best for your futures, and in the words of an old Irish blessing, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Graduates, congratulations and good luck.